Y'all, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Mindful Moments podcast. I'm Tracy. I'm your host and fellow traveler on this journey of self-exploration and discovery. So, it's been a hot minute. It's been a second. And last time that we were here and we were talking, we were chatting it up, I shared some reflections on 2 years of marriage before Calder and I were heading off on our anniversary trip to Toronto, and it was wonderful. I mean, it was so perfect. It was relaxing, and it gave us this great opportunity that we could just be, and we were able to reconnect. We were able to just enjoy each other, and it was the bomb. I mean, we didn't have any plans. We pretty much did what we wanted when we wanted, and we did everything from eating delicious food and ordering all of that in. And I have some stories about our electric bike rides that we did. There were a series of debacles that went on with that, but it was an absolute blast. And we're back, and we've been back here for a few weeks, but you know how it goes. Do I even have to say it? I feel like everyone knows how it goes, but we were just getting settled, and we were catching up on laundry and getting the groceries and fridge restocked and all the regular routine stuff. And we had other things that we had planned. So we had things planned with friends and family and different things that we had already committed to. And so now I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, I want to go ahead and talk about this a little bit with all of you. And I'm going to talk more about our anniversary and our anniversary trip. But most recently, we just returned from our family reunion, and it's for my maternal family. So they're from Quincy, and it's always like such a great time. It's always like the best time being around family and catching up and seeing people you haven't seen in years, and seeing people that you look forward to seeing every single time that you convene. And this past weekend, I experienced some moments that really brought home some truly important lessons. And today I just wanted to share some of these lessons with you all. And I will come back to talking more about our anniversary and some of the other topics that I also have top of mind. But this one, it just came to me, and I wanted to share a little bit about it, because I think a lot of these lessons resonate with a lot of us, especially when we're navigating busy times and family gatherings and obligations and commitments and passion projects. So, as I was reflecting on this weekend, it had me thinking, and I thought a lot about what I consider to be my anchors. You know, these are the things that are the pillars of my philosophy, my life philosophy, and the way that I like to guide myself. So, guiding principles, I think that's a reasonable way to name them. But these, I call them themes because they're recurring. They pop up over and over and over, and they pop up in ways that I feel very strongly that I'm receiving these messages. Like, the universe is definitely trying to teach me something, and whether or not I decide to learn from it, whether or not I consider it to be an opportunity or not, whether or not I decide to take that opportunity and learn from it, you know, that's up to me. Ultimately, it's always going to be up to you, because I do believe that we all do have free will. And for me, these have been the themes. And I'm going to list them out in the way that I have them written, so that whenever we're playing this episode back, because we'll be playing it back, and we want to make sure that we are reminding ourselves to use these principles as our foundation and use them as ways to go back and check the map and make sure that we're guiding our steps in a way that is consistent and is aligned with these principles. And these themes, so the themes that we have are love and gratitude, present moment awareness, releasing and letting go, one of my faves, y'all already know, finding calm in chaos, knowing and trusting ourselves, and the impact of sleep deprivation and nutrition. Okay, so let's dive into the first theme. The first one is love and gratitude. These two, when I think of them, okay, they're kind of like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together. They just do. And if you don't think that they do, then just see yourself out, okay? But anyway, really, spending time with family, it reminded me of how vital it is to express love and be grateful for the people in our lives. Being surrounded by family, there is absolutely nothing that's like it. Nothing. Despite our quirks and conflicts, it really filled me with a sense of gratitude that is so hard to, I don't have the words for it. I can't even begin to describe it. But what I'll do is I want to tell you about one of the highlights of this weekend of our family reunion. And it was a Saturday morning walk. And for me, I love to get out in nature first thing in the morning. And this was something new and different. We don't do this typically for an activity with our family reunion. And we also had an itinerary that you could tell that our family really put a lot of love into. And my uncle especially went in on that. And he did his thing. He did his big one, definitely, because on the itinerary was a morning walk in the park on Saturday morning. And it was such a great experience just seeing my dad and my other uncle. And they both had just had major heart surgeries. And they were leading the walk. They weren't just joining the walk. They weren't just there to be sports. They were leading that walk, literally and metaphorically speaking. And that experience was so inspiring for me. It was a really beautiful reminder that love and gratitude can be powerful, powerful healers, even in the face of adversity. Now, next I want to talk about present moment awareness. It's one of my favorites because it reminds me that all of this, everything, all of what we talk about and being present, the fact that it is a practice. And I remember being on that walk, that Saturday morning walk, and I had the opportunity to lead our group on a very brief and very light and very casual breathing exercise. And during that exercise, everyone was remarking on feeling lighter and feeling more at ease and more present. And while we were doing the breathing exercises, a couple of people were saying how it was a little bit hard, to inhale for 6 and hold it for 4 and exhale slowly for 6, especially while we were walking and talking. And I remember saying that, yeah, it does take practice. Sometimes for me it is still something that I almost have to hold myself and kind of talk myself through it. And all of that is the practice of being present. And I believe that if you're even aware of all of that, that you're doing a really good job, you're on the right track. And I would tell you to keep going because you're paying attention to your breath. And your breath is, of course, the anchor of all anchors in all of this. And I already know that it's not easy. So during the family picnic, everything just kind of caught up to me. You know, whenever you're just running, you're ripping and you're running, you're having fun, you're staying up way too late, you're not eating things that are going to give you the proper nutrition, and life is still doing what life does beyond all of that. And so you're feeling a little bit kind of conflicted. You know, you want to socialize, you want to continue going around and making your rounds and giving hugs and catching up with people and doing all the things that you would normally do. And at that moment, in that 100-degree weather, and with the lack of sleep and with everything that was going on, I found it really, really hard at that second, like when we were there, to be fully and completely in the moment. But then something happened. There was a shift, and I had a heartfelt conversation with one of my younger cousins, and it brought me back. It just snapped me. It hit, and I was back, and I could just feel it. I was like, okay, hey. But he shared with me how much my podcast meant to him. He talked to me about how it inspired him and how he had listened, and how in some ways he was reflecting on things that he wanted to do and different passion projects that he wanted to pursue. And that just, it brought me back in such a way that it just reminded me of the impact of staying present and truly listening. And I mean, I know that the stuff that I'm talking about in the podcast, but definitely in today's episode, is it's universal. Like we've all been on the struggle bus. I mean, some may say that they were even driving the struggle bus. I might even say that, but it's universal. We've all been exhausted. We've all been stressed. We've all been overwhelmed, right? And if in those moments, if you're not able to bring yourself back to the present moment, if you're struggling to get yourself grounded and you're trying to figure out how you can possibly just get your composure, because composure was always something that I found it really, really difficult to get my composure and to regain my composure if I was, in these periods of exhaustion, stress, overwhelm, all of that, those heightened emotions, those heightened energies. And since I was a kid, since I was a wee little one, that was something that I really wanted to develop, that skill, but I just didn't have it. And I'm realizing now that I'm saying this out loud that perhaps I did have it. I had it because I've been able to do it. And I didn't have it practiced. And that's why I say that these things do require practice, that these are all practices, because it is going to be a little bit more of a challenge if you're like a child, if you're a 5-year-old versus me today, now as a 34-year-old woman. And I found that practicing present moment awareness, it helps us to appreciate the here and now. And it allows space for us to engage fully with whatever we're doing and whoever we're doing it with. And this weekend was so special because it gave me a little bit of everything. It gave me so much love. It gave me so much perspective, so much wisdom, so many lessons within the challenges. And all of these small grounding moments brought me back to center. They brought me back here. They brought me back to home. And I want to share something else that I learned. And I won't say that I learned it, but something else that was highlighted for me here recently. And it was about releasing and letting go. And this is the next theme. I've noticed that it's one of the most challenging lessons that I've learned, and I believe that a lot of times we receive challenges as a way to teach us, and this has been one of my great teachers, is releasing and letting go. And especially when there's this intersection, the releasing and letting go, and then the love and the gratitude, when you get all of that together, it makes me feel a little confused. And that may not be the best word for it, but it's my podcast. So I believe that sometimes these lessons that are a little bit harder to digest, they have to come sandwiched, kind of like whenever you're going to give someone potentially a not so great critique, you're supposed to sandwich it so that you give them positive feedback, then you give them the critique, and then the positive feedback after that. Just makes it a little bit softer, right? So I believe that a lot of these lessons come that way. So over this weekend, I had so much love and gratitude and really special moments where I was able to connect and have really good quality time with so many people that I love. I mean, so many. It was overwhelming to an extent. And then I had a few challenges, and I don't know if I would have been better equipped for those challenges had they not come sandwiched within the love and the gratitude. And I'm just now thinking about this, and I'm thinking about the fact that I had that wonderful morning walk, and it grounded me in more ways than one. I mean, it really set me up so that when the challenge came, I was so full of love and gratitude that I was able to take myself there. And not only was I set up with my foundation of love and gratitude, but I'd also secured my anchor, my other anchor, the breath. And so over the weekend, I found myself in a situation where I could have easily held on to pain and anger and negative emotions. And not that we need to assign negative or positive to them, but those feelings and those emotions that make you kind of queasy on the inside. And that's kind of the best way that I can describe it. It's when I'm finding myself reaching for my anchor, I'm reaching for my breath, and I can't grab it. I can't grasp it. I can't feel it. And in that moment, I chose to step away. And I stepped away so that I could get back to my breath, so that I could go to a place where I could take a nice deep breath and focus on the bigger picture. And it was actually one of the most beautiful situations. And it was beautiful in a way that I can't really describe, but I got to see what happens when you let go. I found out in a different way what letting go of anger and resentment, what it does, and the fact that it really, really, really does free us from unnecessary stress. And it allows us to focus on those interactions that bring us joy and confidence and love and gratitude. It allows us to focus on our breath. And I was reminded that sometimes people watch us. Sometimes they're our friends, sometimes they're family, and sometimes they're youngsters. Sometimes they're people who look up to us and they're looking to us. They're looking to us for guidance and for direction, and they're looking to us to model a level of awareness that that leaves us feeling more at peace collectively. When we let go of anger and resentment, it frees us from unnecessary stress, and it allows us to focus on those quality interactions. It enables us to engage fully with others. And doing this, it brings more joy and love into our lives. This theme, like the others, of course, is a continuous practice and a reminder that we have the power to shape our experiences. And we do that by how we choose to respond. Next up, I want to talk about finding calm in chaos. So here's the thing, in case you're new to this, first time here at Life, hi, welcome. This is Life. and chaos lives here. No, but for real though, chaos is, it's just a part of life. And I've absolutely come to accept that. Definitely, especially being the youngest of six. It is what it is. There's a lot of love and there's also chaos. And what I've found is that if you're able to find calm within the chaos, this is a skill worth cultivating. It's one worth practicing. Now, when I say finding calm in chaos, I don't mean you have to do anything grand or elaborate, nothing over the top. Sometimes it's about just taking a moment to step back and breathe. Sometimes it's about finding a quiet corner and just taking a moment just to center yourself. For me, this weekend in particular, it was all about balancing those moments of joy and connection and love and gratitude with a little bit of personal calm amidst the hustle and the bustle. What I found is that when you have the tools to bring yourself back to a place of calm and focus and peace, it makes all the difference. So whether it's finding a moment of peace in the middle of a family function or just taking a quiet walk, maybe taking a nap in the car, it's important to remember that calm is something we can create, even in the midst of chaos. And this safely gets us to our next destination, which is where I want to talk about knowing and trusting ourselves. Trusting ourselves is the core. It's everything when it comes to making decisions that align with our values and well-being. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to make a decision on what's in your best interest? Like you're sitting there and you are the one who needs to decide. You have to make a way or figure it out. Maybe you felt your body giving you all the signs that something just was not right. Or maybe you just had a gut feeling. It could be something with maybe a job that's burning you out or a conflict that you know that you just can't win. What I've learned is sometimes the best thing to do is to step away. And it can be hard and it can be frustrating. And I found myself sitting in the frustration and just allowing it. As much as I talk about it, I was sitting and I was reminded of all of this, and I thought, well, simply put, this weekend and the events leading up to this weekend really, they reaffirmed the importance of knowing and trusting myself, recognizing my limits, and honoring my needs without guilt or hesitation or shame. It's allowed me to move with intention, and not just the regular intention where you have a plan or a goal, but it's a confident intention. It's about me being able to bring myself back to the present moment and being able to see the bigger picture. And in doing that, it helps to ensure that myself as well as others that we're in environments where we can thrive. And that's what we all want. We've already talked about that, right? Like we want one another to thrive. We want people we love to thrive. We want perfect strangers to thrive. That is what is in the best interest of all. And that's a big part of my question is, have you ever been in a situation where you felt you just couldn't win? No matter what you did, no matter what you said, no matter how you said it, you could feel that the opposition was so strong that you had to make a choice. And I found myself making that choice, and sometimes the best decision really is just to step back, reassess, and trust that you know what's best for you. Only you know that. No one is more you than you. It's about making choices that support your well-being and knowing that it's okay to put yourself first sometimes. It's okay to focus on you as a priority. Most importantly, whoever needs to hear this, you deserve to be in a space and to be surrounded in love. And if that space consists of just you, then so be it. You might want to circle back to my monk mode episode. That might be for you. That might be your cup of tea. Last but certainly not least, I want to talk about the impact of sleep deprivation and nutrition. Now, I'm not a licensed professional, so this is all from my experience, okay? Here lately, I have had some very stark reminders of how our daily routines affect our well-being. I know exactly what happens if I'm operating at all on little or no sleep, and especially if I'm traveling, if I have plans and things going on that are beyond my control. I mean, like I said, it's life. We're all here. But I've noticed how I feel in those moments, and I find that I'm a little bit more irritable. I'm a bit less capable of handling certain stressors. And if you really sit back and you think about it, and you think about the effort and the energy that it takes sometimes to socialize or to show up or to be in a certain way that's pleasing to others, that they can handle that and they can accept it. If you're trying to do all of that and you're running on empty, that's a really good time for you to listen to your body and listen to your mind. And the truth is that your body and your mind, they need rest, they need nourishment. They have to have all of that to function optimally. And prioritizing sleep and eating balanced meals, staying hydrated, of course, especially if you are, well, I guess anywhere in the United States. I think it's pretty hot everywhere, but particularly in the Midwest. I mean, we're looking at 100 degrees, and depending on who you ask, the humidity might be hurting or helping the situation. For me, it's kind of 50-50, but if you can prioritize your sleep and you're making sure that you're eating well and you're staying hydrated, doing all of that, it can really improve our mood and our emotional resilience, our ability to navigate challenging situations. When I took a step back and I had a few moments to reflect on the weekend, I realized how intertwined these themes are. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to do an episode that had all of these themes coming together and so beautifully laid out like this, but love and gratitude, present moment awareness, releasing and letting go, finding calm in chaos, knowing and trusting ourselves, and just taking care of our physical needs. It all plays a really crucial role in how we show up in life. Thank you all so much for joining me on this episode of the Mindful Moments podcast. That's all I have for you all today. And y'all, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Mindful Moments podcast. And I really hope that me sharing some of these experiences and these reflections, I hope that all of this inspires you to embrace these themes in your own life, however it shows up. And just know that every moment, no matter how it comes, it could come as a challenge, it could come as a form of love and abundance, but each of these moments is an opportunity for you to embrace a pause. It's a moment for you to reflect and go on your own journey of self-discovery. Go explore yourself and be you. So with that, I'll catch you all on the next episode. Be here, be you, be now.